any rate, the last 17 days have passed once again in a slightly surreal blur, and because we can hardly remember what happened this morning, we've got a comedian, Andy Zeltzman, to review the championship for us this time.
The tournament began with all eyes on the returning champion, back from his snooker sabbatical, Ronnie O'Sullivan, the Beethoven of breakbuilding, the Shakespeare of shopmaking, the Da Vinci of developing the Reds, the man known as the Mozart of snooker, was back. Early on, he wasn't quite at his mind-bending best. But even Mozart would have taken a couple of concertos to crank back up to speed after a year out of composing. Ebdon against Dot, a match that crawled along so slowly that at one point it seemed that Peter Ebdon had hibernated on the table. At one stage, Peter Ebdon disappeared for 4 minutes between frames, giving Dot some quality time alone with himself to ponder on ways to speed snooker up. The answer, this music. If we had this as our national anthem, we would be the most productive nation in the world. 4 Crucible debutants were knocked out in the first round, proving that there is no substitute for experience. 4 former champions were also knocked out in the first round. Higgins, Ebdon, Williams and Robertson, proving that there is a substitute for experience. But one of the first-timers who did make it through was Thailand's Dechawat Poomjang. Boom, boom, he shook the room! He applauded his own shots, as if the balls were his children in an unexpectedly flawless nativity play. He waved the balls into the pocket, like a trainee shepherd with a disappointing new sheepdog. He knocked out Stephen Maguire 10-9 in a first-round thriller. Maguire suggested that Dechawat was not the full shilling, that he was a John Virgo short of the full commentary box. He even tried to leave the arena by the wrong exit. Where's the screwball going? In the first round, Dechawat did pretty much everything short of coming out for the deciding frame dressed as a pantomime horse. Sadly, in the second round, he might as well have done that, because not only did fellow debutant Michael White make mincemeat out of him, but also, at one point, he was reduced to grazing on a beautifully mown Crucible turf.
Dechawat Poomjang, 32.
Further into the second round, and there were more shocks, and some electrifying snooker. But Graham Dott didn't have quite enough spark, and he lost to Sean Murphy. This set up a quarter-final showdown with the 2011 finalist, Judd Trump, who'd avoided the carnage of the early rounds despite this miss, which provoked this reaction from his opponent. To be fair to Dominic Dale, he wasn't actually concentrating on the snooker at the time. He'd just heard that Hazel Irvine had displaced Angela Merkel as Forbes magazine's most powerful woman in the world.
Anything's possible.
Trump was instrumental in arguably the biggest showdown of the second round. Referee Adrian Williams against the miss rule. Poor Arian was like trying to piece back a watermelon after a food fight, I've heard. Elsewhere in round 2, world number 1 Mark Selby was knocked out and complained about burnout.
I don't know whether it's been a long season travelling here there and I just had nothing left coming into the World Championships.
Snooker Supremo Barry Hearn then complained about Selby complaining about burnout.
I know it's tough flying around the world and staying in 5-star hotels and earning loads of money. Please don't come to me with excuses.
They used to have best of 145 frame finals, so careful what you wish for. And besides, as Barry himself would no doubt say, burnout? Before I came along, there wasn't even a fire. Now dress up like a marshmallow and toast yourself. What was that other second round match? Quiet, please, I'm dinking. Ding King! It was Ding against King, in the kind of rhyming snooker matchup that Bill Werbenet could only have dreamed of. Mark King played the shot of this tournament that most resembled 1950s America. It went all over the place, unsuccessfully trying to locate the Reds. Boom! That's one for all you Cold War fans out there. Come quarter-final time, and the Rocket was starting to look more unbeatable than a hungry whale in a plankton eating competition.
And it's now 7-0.
He took 12 of the first 13 frames as Stuart Bingham went down faster than a buttered baby down a well-waxed water slide. The Rocket can play snooker that few can match, and he can find threats to retire that other players wouldn't even see. He's one of the world's few certifiable sporting geniuses, a man who can play snooker so beautiful it makes you want to sit your children on your knee, point to the television and say, "Watch this, this is why I had you. Don't tell your mother I said that." Trump and Murphy played out the match of the championships, a seesawing classic that culminated in another fraught final frame frenzy. And in a finale more intense than the Glastonbury crowd at bedtime, Trump triumphed. And so we had the first all-English semi-final lineup since 1991. Hands up if you put money on a Barry Hawkins v Ricky Walden semi-final. If you've got your hands up, put your hands down again. You're a liar. Or you're a very close family member of both Hawkins and Walden, and you're a liar. Their decades of dedication to the infinite crafts of hitting a tiny little white ball with a big pointy stick in a darkened room, and their lifetime of frankly unnatural expenditure on waistcoats have paid off in style. Hawkins hung in there, battled back, and after beginning the tournament with a played 9, lost 7 Crucible record, was about to have a much busier Maybank holiday than he's used to. Neither Trump nor O'Sullivan could quite find their fluent best. For once, physics was not doing what it was told.
I don't think it's there. I don't think it's there. He's left this green on. He's left it on.
Sure, there were breaks, but not always the kind of breaks you'd want in a world semi-final.
Well, the last time I heard a noise like that, I think it was playing against Big Bill Werbenick.
And it was Ronnie who was told off for naughty snooker. But in the end, Ronnie made it through. He mixed a trademark cocktail of technical brilliance with the iron will of a champion, still the magician of his youth, but with 20 years of added experience. If snooker is not for you, Ronnie, then being on stamps isn't for the Queen. Are you going to be the man to tell her that? Really? So now, as many people predicted, it's all come down to the final. Again, as tournaments do generally. This championship has had it all, and at the end of it, we're left with one man seemingly born to play in World Snooker Finals, and another man who maybe thought he'd never get there. Thanks be to snooker. Amen.
Brilliant, Andy Zelsman. Thank